Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Colorado Golf Hall of Fame Induction Dinner. I'm Chris Nordling, the president-elect, and as some of you already know, Bob Webster is our current president, but he had a family event scheduled on this same day, so he honored that commitment, and I was asked to fill in for him, and I'm happy to do so. Now, one of the first things I'd like to do up here is to, Bob was a great president for 3 years. And we had him for 23, 24, and this year, 25. And in 2023, you all should remember that was our big year. That was our 50th anniversary year for the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame. And we did it upright. You know, we had our big gala, 50th anniversary gala down at the Broadmoor. And we had our fundraising golf tournament at the Broadmoor East Course. Thank you, Russ Miller, for the great hospitality there. Yes. And we also had the grand opening of that beautiful museum that we now have at the Broadmoor Golf Club. It is a shining example of, or it displays all of the great golfers we've had in Colorado and all of the great contributors. We knew it was going to be nice, but it was over the top. We love it, and it's what our Hall of Famers deserve. So when you have a chance, if you haven't seen it yet, please get there and take a look, because it's something special. But anyway, Bob was a great president for 3 years. This guy is a giver. He's an Evans Scholar. He's the director of the Western Golf Association. He's a governor emeritus of the Colorado Golf Association. And now he's been the president of the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame for 3 years. So I would like for you to help me congratulate, well, really, he's not here tonight, but he'll see it. This is being recorded. He'll take a look at it later. And I'd love for him to see how everybody would congratulate and thank him for 3 great years. And yes, I know I have pretty big shoes to fill. Okay, next I'd like to thank the chair of the event committee for this event right here, and that's Kathy Matthews-Kane. Kathy, where are you? Okay. As you know, a lot of work goes into this, and she led that committee to put this together the way we know it should be done. And so, you know, she's the GM at the Country Club of Colorado, and I believe I think I'm gonna get this right. Last year, she was the Colorado Section PGA Golf Professional of the Year. So, thank you, Kathy. I also want to thank our executive director, John Rizzi. Folks, 90% of what you're going to see on the screens tonight is his responsibility. All the interviews, all of the videos, all of the research that goes into what you're going to see tonight about every one of our inductees and our awardees is his work. And so we've got an executive director extraordinaire. So help me thank John Rizzi. I'd also like to thank Steve Zarnecki. He's our golf tournament committee chair. You know, we've had the great fortune of being able to host our golf tournament at great places over the last few years. We've been to Colorado Golf Club, Columbine. In 2023, we're at the Broadmoor, as I said. Last year, we were at Ravenna. Thank you, Mark Passy and Ravenna. And this year, we were at Cherry Creek. Well, Steve has been our event chair for the last 2 years. And there's been one thing that's been different in the last 2, and that was that we had the online auction for the foursomes of golf. Now, I believe that idea came from Steve Zarnecki and Steve Bartkowski, the executive director of the Colorado section of the PGA. And boy, what a great idea. I mean, the idea may have came from him, but Steve Zarnecki, our chair, took hold of it and went deep. We had a really nice turnout and sold a lot of foursomes last year, but this year it was even better. 42 golf courses or golf clubs donated a foursome for that auction. And you can imagine how nice a bump that was to our bottom line as far as revenue for the event. So now, Steve, I'm sure, would want me to make sure that we tell you what our tournament or where our tournament is next year. Hey, get out your phones. Let's put it in there right now. It's Monday, May 18th at Lakewood Country Club. And where's the Lakewood table? You've got a table here somewhere, right there. Thank you, Lakewood Country Club, and we'll see you in May. And also one more round of applause for Zarnecki. He was unbelievable. Now, I want to thank our sponsors, the ACE sponsors and the Eagle sponsors. Our ACE sponsors are Castle Pines Golf Club and George Solich, an inductee from last year, and the Rocky Mountain Golf Course Superintendents Association. The Eagle sponsors are City of Westminster, the Country Club of the Rockies, and the Bluebird Club and Patrick Hamill, another inductee from last year. A big round of applause. Okay, now something we do at every induction dinner. I'm going to call out the names of the current Hall of Famers that are here tonight, okay? And everyone else, if you would, hold your applause until the end. And Famers, when I call your name, if you'd please stand up and stay standing until we get all of you up, and then we'll all let you have it, okay? So, Gary Baines, Clayton Cole, Bob Doyle, Kim Eaton, Maggie Giesenhagen, Lauren Howe, Bill Leffler, Larry McAtee, Russ Miller, Janet Moore, and Kent Moore, John Olive, Dick Phelps, Gary Potter, Keith Schneider, Digger Smith, and George Solich. Hall of Famers, welcome back. Now, speaking of Hall of Famers, you know, we always mourn if we lose a Hall of Famer. This year has been especially tough because so far this year we've had 3 Hall of Famers pass. And I think it's page 4 in your program describes the lives and the careers of Dennis Lyon, Barbara McIntyre, and Vic Klein. The unique thing about these 3 is they all share something very special in common, okay? Back in 2015, when the Colorado Golf Association had its 100-year anniversary gala, these 3 were given very special awards. Dennis Lyon, the Superintendent of the Century. Not the year, not the decade, but of the century. And Barbara McIntyre, whose golfing record is incredible, she was the female amateur golfer of this century. And then Vic Klein, the PGA Club professional of the century. And so with that, I would appreciate it if you could join me in a moment of silence so that we could remember and honor these icons of golf in Colorado. Thank you so much. Okay, finally, I want to thank the Hyatt. For 2 years in a row, we know that this is a great venue for this event. And I want us to thank the management, the staff, the servers. Give them a big round of applause because this is going to be a great evening. Okay, I will be back in a little while to help Tom Green hand out the awards. But for now, enjoy your dinner. Thanks, everybody.
I hope everyone has enjoyed their meal. Hopefully you're just finishing your desserts, which were all yummy. And hopefully you're not finishing your steak, because that would be not good, but that's okay. Whatever works. John Rizzi, Executive Director. It's my privilege to It's my privilege to introduce a good friend of mine and a good friend of the Hall of Fame, Tom Green. He's our MC tonight. Thank you.
I got to tell you, I used to work in TV news, and I left a few months ago from Channel 9, and this is the first time I put on a tie in 5 months. It was pretty cool. It actually made me realize how much I don't like putting on a tie, so that's good. I got a lot of stuff to cover here, so we're going to try to make this as quick as I can. First, I want to tell you what I am doing, just in case it works out for me as far as money. So I've started doing some podcasting because I know many people say, boy, I wish there were more podcasts. So, but I was approached about doing a podcast, and the original idea was we'll talk a lot about Denver sports history, and I've seen a lot of it, so I said, sure, I'll do that. That'd be fun. So we put together a thing called The Other Tom Green Show, because the Canadian comedian has the Tom Green Show, and instead of being sued, we thought it's easier to just make a new name for ourselves. And we've made a few, but the first couple of weeks that we've done them, we have been talking a bit about golf. I had my friend Verne Lundquist, who we're going to hear from later, as one of our guests, talking about some of those very famous calls that he had at the Masters and other places. Had David Duval on last week. That was great because we were talking about what might happen at the Ryder Cup. And then it all happened at the Ryder Cup. John Rizzi, who you just heard from, I've known him for a long time, but I didn't know him when both of us were originally from the New York area. And John actually is from the western part of Long Island, not too far from Bethpage. And as the Ryder Cup and the crowd kind of de-evolved into what happened, he became irate. He was furious at the crowd. He said, those people are too soft. Those aren't the people I remember. You call yourself a New Yorker. I mean, let's bring it up a bit. When I was in news, one of the things you had to do is you really, people talk about fake news this, fake news that, but you always were dedicated to trying to check every story out, making sure that what you said was true. And so a couple of months ago, I think it was, there was a story, and my old journalistic instincts kicked in, and I wanted to find out if it was true or not. There was an internet rumor that a man from Eastern Europe, the story was that he was nicer than Clayton Cole, and it's not true. So I checked that out. I love getting together with everyone here, so many familiar faces. I get to do this now and again most years, but it's like, Colorado's golf community gathering together like a family. And like most families, we have like our crazy uncle, Bill Leffler. I ran into a man here who apparently is well known. I didn't know it, but Russ Miller, who's telling me about this startup he has down in Colorado Springs. He's got a golf course he's putting together called the Broadmoor, and we'll see if that comes together. And I saw Jim Urbina. Do you guys know Jim, of course, the great designer? Yeah. He's redesigning a Walgreens on Hamden now, so he just never takes any time off. There's a table over here I walked by, and they said, Tom, we're superintendents. And they wanted to be acknowledged, and I told them no. So, still pretty cool that they took the time to come here. So I've been here a while. When I first came to Colorado, I think the nicest golf course, you talk about great history here, but I always felt the nicest golf course, the course you wanted to try to find a way to get on, was one many of you may remember called Twilight. And Twilight was great because if you survived, you survived. And that was it. So our presentation tonight is going to start with our future famers. And this is terrific because they've started doing this a few years ago, and these are youngsters who really are on their way. And I like to think of this event as, you come here and they're Hall of Famers who had careers that many of us would never, ever be able to aspire to. And with our future famers, these are people who were people that we never were. Our first future famer, let's learn more about Ashleigh Wilson.
Walter Hagen once said, "Nobody remembers who came in second." Try telling that to Jack Nicklaus, who was runner-up in 19 majors, starting with the 1960 U.S. Open at Cherry Hills. Or to Ashleigh Wilson of Highlands Ranch. In 2024, the Rock Canyon High golfer finished second among girls in 4 major events: the 5A State High School Championship, the Colorado Golf Association State Junior, the Colorado Junior PGA Championship, and the Colorado PGA Junior Match Play. In addition, Ashleigh was medalist in the U.S. Girls Junior Qualifier at Meadow Hills, carding a 70 to earn a spot in the National Championship at El Caballero Country Club in Tarzana, California. She also finished top 15 in 4 AJGA competitions. In the eyes of the Colorado Golf Association, Ashleigh was second to none and named her its 2024 Girls Junior Player of the Year. That award came the year after she'd captured the 2023 Colorado Junior PGA Championship and Colorado PGA Junior Match Play, her second and third state majors after winning the Colorado PGA Junior Invitational in October of 2022. Like tonight's other 2 future famers, Ashleigh was selected as one of the 16 elite members of the inaugural Team Colorado, part of the USGA's U.S. National Development Program. This year, she also represented the Centennial State in her second consecutive Junior Girls America's Cup, qualified again for the U.S. Girls Junior, and advanced to match play with her partner Caitlin Zingler in the U.S. Women's Amateur Floorball at Oklahoma City Golf and Country Club. Ashleigh's passion for golf has taken her from the putting greens of Highlands Ranch to the trophied fairways of Colorado and on to the collegiate level, where she now competes for the Montana State Bobcats. The Board of Directors of the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame congratulates Ashleigh Wilson, our latest female future famer.
Now, Ashleigh couldn't be here. Her Montana State Bobcats need her, so she is playing in a tournament, but she did take the time to send us a nice video. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to have been selected to receive this award tonight, and I would like to thank the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame as well as John Rizzi for making this event possible tonight. This award is so special to me as golf has been such a blessing in my life, allowing me to meet my best friends, travel the country, and connect with those around me. Golf is so much more than just a score, and I would like to individually thank my parents for being my biggest supporters, my sister, Taylor Wilson, for being my best friend and my rock. I want to thank my coach, Trent Warner, who has been with me throughout my entire golf career and shaped me into the player that I am today. I also want to thank the Colorado Golf Association and Ashleigh Harrell for every opportunity they have given me as I have grown up. Colorado Golf is a family and one that I am so thankful to be a part of and be able to represent for the rest of my career. Thank you so much once again to the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame and for receiving this honor tonight. I hope everybody has a great rest of their evening.
Thanks to Ashleigh. Her father is here to accept the award, so if we could have her dad come on up, we'd be more than happy to salute him on Ashleigh's behalf and present him with her future famer trophy from Chris Nordling. Thank you. We do have more future famers. Our next future famer is the two-time winner of the 2024 AJGA Colorado Junior at Walnut Creek. So let's learn more about Miles Kuhl.
To be sure, Miles Kuhl's golf swing has come a long way since his cross-handed efforts as a toddler. The Boulder resident has won U.S. Kids tournaments, earned a gold and silver medal in the regionals of the drive, chip, and putt, and swept the Colorado PGA Junior Majors in 2023. Working with his coach Dan Sniffen, by 2024, Miles had taken his game to an even higher level. He navigated 2 stages of qualifying to land one of the 312 berths in the U.S. Amateur at Hazeltine. He also triumphed in the 2024 AJGA Colorado Junior at Walnut Creek, a huge win that he repeated this June, with the championship hosted by Colorado Golf Hall of Famer Wyndham Clark. Although Miles didn't repeat as Colorado Junior PGA match or stroke play champion, he finished 3rd in both, as well as in the 5A high school tournament. He represented Colorado in the Junior America's Cup, and his 13th place finish was the best showing of any Coloradan. He made the team again this year, as the team finished an impressive 3rd among 18 teams. Miles earned the Colorado Golf Association's 2024 Junior Player of the Year award, and, like fellow future famers Tyler Long and Ashleigh Wilson, was one of the 16 members of Team Colorado, part of the USGA's National Development Program for elite players. Next autumn, we'll find Miles competing against the elite Division I college players as a member of the San Diego State University men's golf team, hoping to follow the path to the PGA Tour taken by major champions Xander Schauffele and J.J. Spaun. Congratulations, Miles Kuhl, on being a 2025 Colorado Golf Hall of Fame future famer.
All right, thank you, everyone. It is an incredible honor to stand here tonight and accept this award. It means so much to me. Golf has been such, more than a sport to me. It's given me a lifelong friendships, incredible memories, and a community that feels like a family. I wouldn't be here without a lot of people. To my mom and dad, thank you for everything, for the early mornings, the long car rides, and always believing in me, even when I was doubting myself. To my grandparents, thank you for always being my #1 supporter. To my swing coach, Dan Sniffen, no matter what my problem is I'm having with my swing, you can always fix it. You've always helped me grow as a person and as a player. To my high school coach, John Zerwin, thank you for always pushing me and stopping me from making dumb decisions on the course. To my friend Tucker, thank you for being my caddy, traveling with me, braving the weather, and putting up with me through it all. There are so many more people who have helped me become who I am, and even though I can't thank everyone tonight, I'm truly grateful. Golf has taught me to stick with things, to keep grinding even when it's tough, and relationships that you build along the way matter more than any scorecard. I'm excited to keep chasing my dreams and representing Colorado golf with pride. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And we have one more future famer. This future famer had an interesting year in that he, as an American, went to Bethpage and won. Let's learn more about Tyler Long.
Three months before it would test the American and European teams in September's Ryder Cup, the brutal black course at Long Island's Bethpage State Park hosted the American Junior Golf Association's prestigious RLX Ralph Lauren Junior Match Play Classic. It was evergreen golfer Tyler Long's final AJGA tournament, and he won it convincingly, putting his name on the same trophy as Tiger Woods, Stewart Cink, and other PGA Tour stars. The victory capped off an AJGA career that included a triumph in the 2024 Colorado Springs Junior at Cheyenne Shadows, a runner-up in the Justin Thomas Junior Championship, and a T5 in the Western Junior. By the end of July, Tyler ranked 11th in the Rolex AJGA rankings after an impressive T5 in a field of 312 at the Boys PGA High School Golf National Invitational held at Pinehurst in North Carolina. Tyler's journey began as a junior, playing out of Highwan Golf Club. As a 12-year-old, he was named the Colorado PGA's Junior Player of the Year. Tyler started working with instructor Trent Warner in 2020. By the time he was a junior at Evergreen High, Tyler led the Cougars to the 4A team title and finished runner-up as an individual with a 1 under 141. For his senior season, Tyler won the state's 3A championship, posting a 9 under par 135 over 2 rounds. He also captured the 3A Region 2 title after winning the Jeffco League title for a record 4th time. As a senior, Tyler compiled a 65.8 scoring average. He shot an 11 under 129 to earn medalist honors in the 2024 CGA State Junior Championship. Like his fellow future famers, Tyler is a Team Colorado member who also represented his home state in this year's Junior America's Cup, where the Colorado boys finished 3rd in a field of 18 teams from the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Tyler now competes for the University of Colorado. Congratulations, Tyler Long, on being a Colorado Golf Hall of Fame future famer.
Good evening, everyone. I'm incredibly honored to receive the Colorado Golf Association Future Famer Award. Growing up, I've loved nothing more than the game of golf. It's been more than just a sport for me. It's been a passion, a challenge, and a game that has shaped me who I am since the young age of 5 years old. Along the way, I've been fortunate enough to have enough people to support me. I want to give a special thanks to my coach, Trent Werner. Trent, your patience, guidance, and belief in me have been invaluable, and I wouldn't be where I am without your mentorship and coaching. You always got my swing dialed even when it was pretty off. I also want to thank Highwan Golf Club, which has truly been an honor to be a member at. I want to thank Troy Person and Cahalane, directors of golf there. They've been so gracious and supportive as directors of golf there, and the opportunities and encouragement that I've had as a member there since a young age. Especially, even when the range is closed, they still give me range balls, so special shout out to Highwan. That's a great course. I'll always love that place. I also want to thank my trainer, Dee Tidwell, and I'd like to thank my chiropractor, Dr. Russ Sellers. He's the man. Thank you for keeping me strong, healthy, and ready to compete at all times. Your hard work behind the scenes has made a huge difference, and I'm forever grateful for it. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my parents. They're my support group. And I can't give enough thanks to you guys, from 6-hour rounds to traveling across the country. Your endless support and belief doesn't go unnoticed. Support me through the highs and the lows, even when I get dead last, but they know that I can come back from that. And for everything that I've achieved, I'm thankful to you guys, and can't thank you enough. This award means so much because it recognizes not only my love for the game, but also the people and community that I've found through the game. I'm grateful to the Colorado Hall of Fame for this award, and I'm excited for my future in the game of golf. Thank you.
So 2 things are pretty astounding just now. Tyler is 18 and has a chiropractor. But something else I don't think I've seen anyone under 25 doing forever is handwritten notes. I haven't seen anybody like actually pen, paper. Very impressive. It must be a history major. So our next award is our Distinguished Service Award. And today we are in fact honoring those who work on golf courses. The effort that goes into making a golf course playable, beautiful, something you brag about, something you love to be on, there's a tremendous amount of work, and a lot of it happens out of sight. And so today, we're honoring a man who's groomed not only those parts of the course I never see, the fairways and the greens, but the entirety of the experience at a place that I think we all know and love, Common Ground. So please join me in learning more about the work of Mitch Savage.
A Minnesota native, Mitch Savage has spent his career as golf course superintendent in Colorado. While at the University of Minnesota, he interned at Aspen Glen Club and Cherry Hills Country Club, which hired him full-time after he graduated in 2005. Stops at Denver Country Club, Green Valley Ranch, and Broken Tee led Mitch to his current position as Director of Agronomy at Common Ground Golf Course, the home course of the Colorado Golf Association.
What a perfect place for Mitch to land, because the CGA and Common Ground really is a laboratory for best practices when it comes to managing golf operations. And so Mitch is kind of always looking at golf through the lens of advocacy and using Common Ground as a lab for the betterment of the game. So we benefit from his expertise every single day, but the industry benefits from it in a more broad way because he loves and he's passionate about telling the golf story and government relations and advocacy.
What impresses me the most about Mitch is just the dedication that he has to his profession and also to the golf course, to Common Ground. He's always looking for new things that he can incorporate to the operation out there. And probably one of the strongest things that he does is build a team. In the past, I've seen a lot of golf course superintendents that struggle to keep a team going year after year, but it seems like Mitch always builds that team that comes back year after year, and that's one of his significant strengths, plus the advocacy and other efforts that he contributes to the golf course superintendents and golf in Colorado.
Those advocacy efforts are what have distinguished Mitch's service. Golf in Colorado is a $2 billion industry, and since 2016, his involvement with the Colorado Golf Coalition, an alliance between Colorado's 4 chief golf organizations that advocates for the golf industry to state legislators at the Capitol, has proven enormously effective, resulting in legislation that has helped redefine pesticide and water usage, labor practices, and other matters impacting golf and the environment.
I've worked with Mitch many years down here at the Capitol, and I remember our first year working together, him just walking into the building, and kind of the excitement and the look in his face that he got, knowing that he was there to make a difference, or to attempt to make a difference. And over the years, he has really developed that enthusiasm into a passion for advocating on behalf of the golf industry and on behalf of things that make golf better in this state. Over the past couple of years as well too, we've had some challenging legislation that we've had to push back, and it's Mitch's knowledge of what he does and just of the golf course and superintendent duties, etc. Those things where he just can answer any question like that on the spot, and it makes him very knowledgeable and such very persuasive as well too when he speaks with legislators, when he speaks with other stakeholders, those kind of things. And really just learning how to do that and being able to learn what makes legislators tick, what kind of information they want, what will get them to a place where they understand that, hey, again, superintendents are stewards of the environment and want to make, golf courses sustainable, environmentally friendly areas where wildlife can be, and just a thriving environmental area.
Mitch has actively participated at the Coalition's annual Golf Day at the Capitol, and on both the golf course and the Senate floor, he has worked tirelessly to educate the public and politicians on how the moderate and conscientious use of pesticides, fertilizers, and water supports environmental stewardship. He also actively supports the STEAM curriculum of the First Grain Initiative, hosting events at Common Ground. His efforts have not gone unrecognized. In 2019, the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America presented him with its Grassroots Ambassador Leadership Award in recognition of his effectiveness in working with state and national legislators. In 2021 and 2022, the Colorado chapter of the GCSAA elected him chair of its Government and Legislative Committee. And last November, the organization named him its Superintendent of the Year. Perhaps Mitch's most gratifying moment came earlier last year at February's annual National Conference and Trade Show in Phoenix, when the GCSAA presented him with its Excellence in Government Affairs Award.
What we have to do down here in this building is make sure that no harm is done to what the superintendents do, to what helps promote the golf industry in the state as it relates to the economic impact, the environmental impact, tourism, charity, those kind of things. So certainly the status quo remains in the state because of his advocacy efforts. So it's, which, from a perspective could sound a little bit boring, but is very important because we have something good going here in Colorado with the impacts of the game of golf in the state. And so to be able to maintain that, I think has been a big win, and I'm thrilled that he was awarded that honor and that he was acknowledged for that work.
For all he's accomplished at Common Ground, the Capitol, and beyond, the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame honors Mitch Savage with its Distinguished Service Award.
That's the superintendent's back there. That's the Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for this tremendous award. I want to start off by, first and foremost, thanking the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame and their board of directors. This is truly an honor that I will cherish forever, so thank you very much. So absolutely have to thank my wife, Missy. She's able to be here with me tonight. She is by far my #1 fan and supporter. Definitely couldn't do it without her, and quite frankly, she's the reason that I'm able to do a lot of the things I'm able to do in my career. If she is my #1 supporter and fan, Ed Mate is probably my #2 supporter and fan. Ed, thankfully, is able to be here tonight, too. Ed, thank you for always teaching me how to think big and encouraging me to always strive for my wildest goals and ambitions. And thank you for some of the deep philosophical conversations we've had about stoicism and all that great stuff. So thank you so much. And thank you for letting me be a part of the Common Ground and CGA family. Joe McCleary, handlebar, mustache, and all. He couldn't be here with us tonight, and I can make fun of his mustache because he's not here tonight, but I have a feeling it'll probably get back to him and he'll kill me. But Joe has given me a master class out at Common Ground and around the CGA office in the true value of building partnerships and how to truly collaborate with others. He's taught me how to be a critical thinker and how to approach things with a very methodical approach and mindset. So for that, I'm very thankful as well. Jennifer Castle, thank you for taking me under your wing and showing me how things get done at the Capitol, for better or for worse. I've seen and I've learned some really amazing things the last few years with you, and it's just been. I feel like I'm going to walk away at some point with a PhD in lobbying from you. So thank you again for all your help. Thank you for allowing me to go on that journey with you. All my guys and gals at the Rocky Mountain Golf Course Superintendents Association. There's a lot of them here tonight because we get to watch 2 other superintendents be inducted as well into the Hall of Fame. Thank you for allowing me to kind of run with this passion and for trusting that I will always do my best to do it the right way. Kevin, Laura, Matt Bryant, Julie Bryant, Barry Kendall, my old Green Valley Ranch family, thank you for encouraging and allowing me to get involved when I was a young assistant superintendent, and here we are today. And finally, the one person I really want to make sure I thank, Doug Brooks. Thank you for teaching me all the intangibles. I can't see you, but I know the general area where you're sitting out there, Doug. When I was with you at Denver Country Club, you taught me things like how to be confident but humble, how to talk to members. Heck, you even taught me how to, quote, walk like I got somewhere to be, but I'm on time. And while I think all those lessons you taught me certainly helped me out on the golf course as a superintendent, I would argue that they help me even more when I'm wearing this hat. I once read that the secret to happiness is work worth doing. Well, I truly believe that because getting involved in advocacy has provided me with that motivation and sense of purpose and fulfillment. I think perhaps the greatest lesson I've learned while doing it is that good advocacy consists of 3 components: respecting those in front of you, working with those alongside of you, and protecting those behind you. There will certainly be more battles for us to fight at the state capitol, and when they come, we will definitely be ready for them. And in the meantime, we'll continue fighting the good fight, because right when you think the work is finished, you're ready to begin. Thank you very much.
We have a Lifetime Achievement Award to present next. I have to tell you, with Keith Schneider and me, it's personal. No, I mean that in a good way. In the, I think it would be the late 1980s, he and Beth had a beautiful yellow lab named Divot. And Divot had some puppies, and they needed a place to go, so I got one of them. So I spent a long part of my life with a puppy from the Schneider household, and it just reminded me of Keith so much. Her name was Fenway, and she was not bright, but she was not great at golf. But I loved her, you know? And it's the same with Keith. Keith and I have a great relationship. I do tease him a little bit. But I also think about, because I've been here a little more than 40 years, and when Castle Pines was just starting and Keith Schneider was there, you'd think, this is wonderful, he's a great fit. And then he just stays, and it's just hard to picture a place as perfect as Castle Pines being as perfect had you not had all these years of Keith Schneider's stewardship and friendship and everything else. And that goes beyond Castle Pines, and it goes throughout Colorado golf community. He's a terrific guy. So let's learn more about our friend Keith Schneider.
The son of bakery owners from Westerville, Ohio, Keith Schneider started his transition from donut holes to golf holes as a teenager, working first at a local public course and eventually in the bag room at Brookside Country Club in nearby Columbus. He walked on the Western Kentucky men's golf team and spent the summer after freshman year cleaning clubs and carts at Muirfield Village, the club Jack Nicklaus had just opened northwest of his Columbus hometown. Keith developed an interest in merchandising, and after his sophomore year, in 1977, he went to work full-time in Muirfield's golf shop, catering to an upscale clientele. He could not have timed it better. As Nicklaus's career as a golf course architect took off, so did Keith's at Muirfield. By 1980, he'd worked his way up to assistant PGA professional. When Jack Vickers, one of Nicklaus's prized clients, was ready to open his majestic Castle Pines Golf Club in Colorado, Nicklaus loaned Vickers his affable, ambitious 26-year-old star employee to get the course started. He did such a great job, Vickers never let him go. For 43 years, through 22 PGA Tour events and 31 Charlie Coe Invitationals, major renovations to the course, clubhouse, and cottages, Keith exceeded the elevated expectations of Castle Pines' benevolent dictators Jack Vickers and George Solich, and, even more important, those of the club's discerning international membership.
One of the things that made Keith really special to Castle Pines was his grace. He always had a welcoming demeanor, welcoming people to the club, whether it was members, staff, or guests. And I think that was really important for people to get that feel. I think another thing about Keith that he brought enthusiasm. And I think that's really important to get behind, both from a member, guest, and an employee perspective, that enthusiasm. He himself said in 43 years, he never came to work, he always came to the club. And just that different demeanor, that different excitement about it. Another thing that Keith really meant to the club was being here since day one, he knew the history. So it wasn't as if he were thinking about what or how something happened. He had been here, he had lived through it. So he not only knew about the history, but he knew why. And that's important to the fabric of the club. Those are really things that Keith brought to light, but also on the employee side and on the member side, Keith was always willing to have a conversation. And I think that willingness to have a conversation, sometimes good, sometimes not good, but the willingness to tackle it and that forefront, that transparency, I always thought was really important in Keith's legacy here at the club.
Well, I was really fortunate to have Keith when I became president. He'd been here really since Happy Canyon Road was a dirt road. And so he knew the vision of Jack Vickers. He knew all the ups and downs of the club over all the years. And, Keith's just a really warm, really great guy. He and I got along great, and we really worked well together. Well, I think one of his greatest qualities, it really showed up in both our membership and the staff. He earned a lot of respect from his staff, and I think they really worked hard for him. He treated him very well, but he also earned a lot of respect from our membership, and he got to know them all, worked very hard to make sure that, he was delivering on their expectations and really providing them what we call the best day of golf in America.
Well, Keith was very helpful in my career in many ways. First of all, when I left the tour, he hired me to work at Castle Pines for a year, and I got to see how the best pro in the country runs the business. So that kind of set me up, and then I moved on to a resort course and then a public golf course, and then we ended up buying the Links golf course. And so I kind of knew, my wife Sandy and I kind of knew then how to do things, and it was all because of Keith. You watch a guy that's the best of the best, and you can't help but just absorb it. And he was amazing. His attributes are his ability to communicate, even though he can't speak English, is tremendous. He cannot say supposedly. He says supposedly. And he said it now for 45 years. Well, every member at Castle Pines says supposedly. The entire board says supposedly. I say supposedly. Castle Rock says supposedly. It's unbelievable. So you learn stuff from Keith that you didn't think you'd learn.
As part of its renovation, Castle Pines put in a putting course dedicated to Keith called the Schneids. And last June, 2 months before the BMW Championship, the club saluted its GM with a special tribute.
For our annual meeting and our founders party, we surprised Keith with a dedication where we made him an honorary member in June. It was a meaningful day for him and for the club. We really wanted Keith to know how much we appreciated an entire career. Who stays at one place for 43 years anymore? He dedicated his whole career to Castle Pines, and it was just really important that we didn't really want to see him go, so we gave him a green jacket and told him we want to see him every year.
The Colorado Golf Hall of Fame Board of Directors congratulates Keith Schneider on his Lifetime Achievement Award.
True, I am older, but I did handwrite them. Well, thank you all. What a special evening. It's a great honor to get a Lifetime Achievement Award, but that does tell you you've been around a long time. But it's been a great career. I want to thank the board of the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame, the selection committee, and a little shout out to John Trink for nominating me for the Lifetime Achievement Award. 1981, Jack Nicklaus sent me out here, and as George said, When I arrived, I think it was September 5th, about 3 o'clock, not that I would remember those things, Happy Canyon Road was gravel. And I think the thing that I've really enjoyed in my career is to watch a club that is just getting started, but the growth that it has done for 43 years has been really, really special. Jack Vickers was a special person. He had a great vision, and he was great in this community, and it was an honor to work for him. I'm very lucky to be at a place for 43 years, and the last 10 years, to be able to work for a gentleman sitting down here, George Solich, was really special. But I tell you what, you got to buckle up and get ready to go, because I think everybody in this room knows what we did the last 10 years. And George, your vision to take it to the future is second to none, and I've been honored to be a part of that. Thank you. All of this hard work came to light last year in the BMW Championship, and it was really special to be able to show the world what we did. And tonight we're going to honor a person for the Golf Person of the Year, Duffy Solich, that gave his life for a couple years to put on one of the best BMWs ever, and it won the Tournament of the Year, and I think he earns a round of applause. George and Duffy. Congratulations, guys. It was a lot of hard work, but there was a lot of success at the end, and I think the Evans Scholars had the best year ever, which was what it was all about, and very special. I couldn't be up here tonight, partner in crime the last 20 years, Mike McAdams. Mac, it's very special, the kind words you said. I know we made a great team. We had a lot of fun. I think we were damn good at what we did, so thank you for the kind words. The staff at Castle Pines is really, really special. I would take them anywhere. They're the best. And I loved working with them. I miss them. But back at table 22, thank you all. Billy, coming this spring, 2026, we have the Schneider's new edition of Funkin' Wagnall's Dictionary, and you're going to get the first copy, supposedly. You know, you can't do this career without a special family. Our 3 kids, Tom, Lindsay, and Drew, the love that we've had over the years, they all worked at the club. And I think the one thing that we talk about a lot is Castle Pines taught them how to work. And that's what Castle Pines is, a special place and does things like that. The membership is just second to none, and they really empower and love the staff, and they treat us so well. And it is like going to the club every day. I got to finish by my wife, Beth. 38 years she's put up with me. The love, my best friend, my partner, my guiding light. Beth, I wouldn't be standing up here if it wasn't for you. Love you, dear. Well, I kind of feel a Lifetime Achievement Award. I had 43 great years at Castle Pines Golf Club. I feel like this is kind of putting a bow on a wonderful, wonderful career. And I tell you what, it is such an honor to be able to put that green coat with the hummingbirds on it. George, thank you. It's been a special, special ride. Really appreciate it. Have a great evening, everybody.
We have another Lifetime Achievement Award, and it's so cool that it's here in Colorado, because our next honoree deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award for everybody who's ever watched a sporting event in the last 50 years. Whether you're a fan of the SEC, the NCAA tournament, or the Masters, or many other things, Verne Lundquist has been there just enhancing great moments in sports. Moments that didn't need enhancing were made better by Verne being in the chair at the time that they happened. I was very young. I was starting out. I was working at the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame doing some MC work, and at the end of the night, Verne called me over to his table. He was sitting with his good friend Doak Walker, along with their wives Nancy and Skeeter, and he pulled me over to tell me I was doing a good job and to keep going. And I don't think he had any idea what that meant to me. It was big. But Verne, after all these years and all these successes, finally made it big in Happy Gilmore. He is literally, he's the best, and we love that he's a Coloradan. So there's a lot of good stuff, so let's look at the tape.
He blessed Jackie Smith's heart when he dropped a touchdown pass in Super Bowl 13. He called Christian Laettner's improbable catch and shoot to beat Kentucky in 1992. He even narrated the Nancy Kerrigan-Tanya Harding ice-capade at the 1994 Olympics and played himself in Happy Gilmore. He also delivered Auburn's answered prayer when Chris Davis returned a missed field goal 109 yards to beat Alabama in 2013. From archery to volleyball, soccer to skiing, horse racing to horse jumping, from the NCAA to PBA to the PGA Tour, during his 6 decades in the broadcast booth, Verne Lundquist has added narratives to iconic sporting moments that will live forever. For golf fans, of course, few calls resonate as profoundly as the ones he made for 40 years at the Masters.
This is for sole possession of the lead. Maybe. Yes, sir! How many times have you seen that stay drive from there? Never. Any good? How about the reaction? Found another ball. Wonderful touch. Oh, goodness! Hold back. Hold back. Oh, my goodness. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Merton Laverne Lundquist Jr. entered the world July 17, 1940, in Duluth, Minnesota. His father was a fire and brimstone Lutheran preacher who gave Verne his name and his golden pipes. The Lundquists ultimately moved to Texas. Graduating from Austin High and from Texas Lutheran University, Verne forsook the ministry and got into broadcasting. He started as the weekend sports anchor on an Austin TV station and eventually became the radio voice of the Dallas Cowboys for 17 years. Verne's debut at the Masters telecast in 1983 roughly coincided with his move to Steamboat Springs, home to 2 of his close friends and sports legends, Heisman Trophy winner Doak Walker and Olympic medalist Billy Kidd. In short order, Verne joined the board of the Steamboat Springs Music Festival and remains a member. He also got involved with Routt County United Way and Boys and Girls Club of America. Until 1998, he and Doak Walker co-hosted the Walker-Lundquist Invitational Charity Golf Tournament at the Sheraton Steamboat Course, now known as Rolling Stone Ranch Golf Club. He and his wife Nancy still split the year between Steamboat and Texas. When Verne retired from calling SEC games in 2016, the Georgia Marching Band spelled out a very masterful yes, sir on the field. And his final Masters in 2024 brought tributes.
Yes, sir! That is so good.
And that's for you, Verne.
And appreciation from colleagues from the past.
Verne was the guy that taught me everything. I didn't know jack about television. Still don't, but faked it. But I was asking questions. He was helping me, do this, do that. So he literally was my mentor, Verne Lundquist, in television, what to do, how to do it, when to talk, when not to talk. The best advice Verne Lundquist ever gave me, he said, try being yourself. He said, the camera will figure out if you're lying or if you're not real true to who you are. Camera will figure it out in 2 seconds.
And McCord was never more himself than when he described Tiger's encounter with Verne during the final Masters.
I'll never forget when they showed Tiger playing 16, and then he was going to the 17th tee, and he got to walk by, and we weren't on the air yet. CBS was not on the air. And all of a sudden, Tiger walks over to this tree, the way they shot it. He walks over the tree, and he stuck his hand out, and this tree, a hand came out. And I went, what? That's the funniest thing I've ever seen at Augusta, right? And then it came out, and it was Verne behind the tree. And Tiger had seen him and wanted to wish him best of luck and what he's going to do in the future. And thanks for all the past accolades and everything else. But that was funny. That was really funny. I thought, oh my God, a squirrel's got a big arm.
Hey, Verne, congratulations on the Lifetime Achievement Award. Every award you are worthy of, but definitely this one. You're one of my favorite guys of all time. I've loved you since the first time I met you in Montgomery, Alabama in 1985. And in my life, I'll never meet anybody better than you. Congratulations, Verne. I love you and so happy for this moment for you.
Yes, sir, Verne. The Colorado Golf Hall of Fame joins in the salute with its Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you all. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I'm very, very touched. And thank you to John Rizzi and the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame for this cherished honor. Thanks to my wife, Nancy, for being by my side for 43 years. And we moved to Steamboat in 1984 and have made it a home ever since. I'd like to tell you a couple of stories about two of the events you saw. Jack Nicklaus in '86 and Tiger in '05. Let's begin with Jack. Our executive producer at the time was a fellow named Frank Cherkinian. Let me try and describe Frank. Armenian American, about 5'7", always wore a cashmere coat, nicely pressed slacks, Gucci loafers with no socks. And we call him the Ayatollah. Formerly, partly out of respect, but mostly out of fear. He was the most profane human being I have ever met. So now go back to 1986 in Jack. Jack began the day trailing Seve Ballesteros by 4 shots. He played a really mundane first 8 holes. And in the broadcast truck, a production truck, Frank was both producer and director in the front, and behind him was the associate producer and director, a fellow named Lance Barrow. Lance was a man of considerable girth. He weighed in just north of 300 pounds. So inevitably, his nickname was Buddha. So Buddha is in contact with Frank sitting in front of him. And Jack after this first 8 holes, even par, he birdies the 9th. And Lance Buddha said, Frank, we got Jack with a birdie at 9. Frank stood up, turned around, he said, listen, young man, we are storytellers in this business, and Jack Nicklaus is not a part of this story. Now leave me alone. Jack birdied 10. Frank, we've got Jack with a birdie at 10. Frank stood up, turned around, and just glared at him. He birdies 11. Frank, Jack just birdied 11. All right. So we've showed all 3, and I promise you this, Jack Nicklaus did not take one step on the second 9 of Augusta that was not documented by CBS. His son, Jack II, was on the bag, and he comes to 16, and he hit his, actually think about how long ago this was, he hit a 5-iron at 16. How about that? And Jack Jr. said, be good, and Jack, without ever looking up, said, it is. And he almost aced it. And the young broadcaster, 26 years old, named Jim Nance, was there, and he had a great line. After Jack birdied the hole, he said, the bear has come out of hibernation. Jack went on, and he birdied 16, and he stood on the tee at 17, so he's creeping up on Ballesteros. And while he was on 17, Seve put it in the water at 15, double bogeyed the hole. So Jack was tied, and he, of course, sank the butt. You'll notice how boldly, when the ball was this far from the hole, I boldly said, maybe. Well, no kidding. Anyway, there's a sidebar to this whole story. On Wednesday night of that week, we held the Calcutta. And those of you involved in golf know it's a betting game. And our mediator, our interlocutor, was a fellow named Bob Drum. He was the guy who discovered, as a Pittsburgh Post sports writer, he discovered Arnold Palmer in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. But Drum had a voice like this. And so Jackson then comes up. What am I bid for Jack Nicklaus? Nothing. What am I bid for Jack Nicklaus, greatest player in the history of the sport? Nothing. About that time, Tom Brookshire walks into the room. He was Pat Summerall's partner on NFL broadcast. And Drum looked at him and said, Brookie, congratulations. You just got Jack Nicklaus for $400. Now, 17. I'm in a 20-foot platform. I'm at the top with a cameraman, George Rothweiler, and president of CBS, Neil Pilson. And below us is a camera deck with photographers and invited guests. So when Jack birdied the hole, he's walking to 18, I stood up, took my headset off, and I looked down, and there's Brookshire right below me. And I said, Brookie, wasn't that the greatest thing you've ever seen? He said, I got him in the Calcutta. $17,000. Now, Tiger's chip. I'm going to tell you a story about the way the Lance Barrow, Buddha, is now the executive producer of golf. So he's to the left. In the middle is the director, Steve Milton, and to the right is Norm Patterson, the technical director. And in this case, the guy with me in the booth was a cameraman named Bob Wishney. He was designated as camera 10. And so Lanny Watkins, and Tiger was playing with Chris DeMarco. And he's got a one-shot lead. And DeMarco is 20 feet below the hole. And Tiger pulled his 8-iron long and left. So I asked Lanny, I said, what do you think? And Lanny said, he'll be lucky to keep this inside of DeMarco's ball. Now the chip shot, and here it comes, and it sits on the lip of the cup for 1.8 seconds. Well, Steve Milton, the director, said, ready 10, take 10. He had taken 10. He said, now ready 6, take 6. Well, 6 is a fellow over here named Skip Shackelford. He's on a platform, and his job is to take a tight shot, a reaction shot of Tiger. And think about this. Norm Patterson followed his instincts. When Steve Milton says, ready 10, take 10, he punches a button. That's what you see in your living room. When he says, ready 6, take 6, if he punched it, but he followed his instincts and he disobeyed an order. It's a fireable offense. It's like the captain on a ship saying left rudder and the guy just keeps going straight ahead. You can get fired for that. But Norm Patterson followed his instincts and did not take 6. And it changes everything you remember about the shot. You would have heard the noise, but you would have watched Tiger here to here. And it changes the way all I was doing was reacting the way you at home were. That's the greatest shot I've ever seen. In my life, I'd never seen anything like that. But Norm Patterson followed his instincts. And the tragic end of all this is that Norm went to our first event of the year in San Diego, and he was jogging and he dropped dead of a heart attack. He was 41 years of age, and Steve Milton went back to his home in Cincinnati and eulogized him because he wanted his family and friends to know that your memory of Tiger's chip shot was there because of what Norm Patterson had done. One more quick mention, and there was mentioned my friendship with Doak. I grew up as a boy, I idolized Doak Walker, and moved to Steamboat and got to know Doak and his second wife, Skeeter Werner Walker, who was an Olympic, two-time Olympian. And we did the golf tournament for 15 years until Doak passed away as a result of a skiing accident in 1998. But I want to give you some, I thought I knew celebrities. I mean, I'd worked with Terry Bradshaw for crying out loud. Think about that for a while. And Terry has no barometers, no barriers, as you may have noticed on Fox. But anyway, Doak was in the group 1A and I was 1B. And so here's the celebrity of Doak Walker. In his foursome, Frank Gifford, Don Meredith, Bobby Lane, who was Doak's high school teammate at Highland Park in Dallas. And I was in the next group, and I was with Moose Barrows, an Olympic downhill skier whom we lost a year and a half ago. But I watched as Doak and Frank and Don and Bobby teed off, and I watched from a distance Bobby Lane consume 2 Mason quart jars of screwdrivers. He was still upright. Anyway, thank you all for this most cherished honor. I will take this back to Steamboat Springs. When Nancy and I pass, all my memorabilia is going to go to my alma mater, Texas Lutheran University. And this will take a proud position among everything else. Thank you so much for this. Appreciate it.
We'll be presenting our inductees in a minute, but we have one more very important award to dispense tonight, and that is our Golf Person of the Year. And we touched on this a bit with Keith Schneider, but when you think of what Castle Pines is, what it's become, and what it means to the entire state of Colorado, it's not just a country club south of Denver. It has impact. It has impact around the country. It certainly has impact in and around the state. And many of the reasons why are the leadership of Castle Pines that go far beyond those gates. So today we are welcoming our 2025 Golf Person of the Year, and that'll be going to Duffy Solich. So let's take a look at some of what Duffy has done.
When the top 50 players in the FedEx Cup standings competed at the BMW Championship at Castle Pines Golf Club last August, it marked the first time in 18 years that the one-time home of the International had hosted a PGA Tour event, and the first time since the 2014 BMW at Cherry Hills Country Club that the tour had come to Colorado. It was well worth the wait. The renovated course acquitted itself with distinction, delivering a worthy challenge for the world's top players and a resplendent stage on which to watch them. The tournament drew 138,450 attendees during the week. It attracted 2,397 volunteers from 37 states and 4 countries. It also staged a tribute to the 21 years of the International and the first ever BMW concert series, featuring performances by country artists Six Wire, Luke Bryan, and Jordan Davis during the days leading up to the competition. The clubhouse served more than 15,000 meals, and 8,200 milkshakes were enjoyed on property. 2 players, Adam Scott and Ludwig Oberg, set new single-round course records of 63 on an 8,130-yard layout, the longest on the PGA Tour. But in the end, Keegan Bradley's 12-under 276 edged both of them and Sam Burns by a single shot to clinch the championship. And most significant, the 2024 BMW generated a record $10.2 million for its sole charitable beneficiary, the Western Golf Association's Evans Scholars Foundation, which provides full tuition and housing college scholarships to high-achieving youth caddies. The Evans Scholarship played a crucial role in the lives of Castle Pines members George Solich and his older brother Duffy, who both earned scholarships to the University of Colorado by caddying at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs. George later served as general chairman when the 2014 BMW at Cherry Hills set a record for donations to the Evans Scholars Foundation and took PGA Tour Tournament of the Year honors. Now the president and chairman of Castle Pines Golf Club, George appointed his big brother as general chairman of the 2024 BMW Championship a little over 2 years before the event.
I really think Duffy's passion really shone through from day one to post-tournament. I mean, his passion was just always there, and I think everybody felt it. You know, he got everybody energized, he got everybody in a position to really want to go, do the work and execute. It was pretty infectious by everybody that was in the room. So I would say passion really drove him. He was a great leader, and he let everybody in the room. He allowed a lot of great collaboration and ideas, and it worked really well because his heart was in it.
Well, it means a great deal to have a former Evans Scholar chair of the BMW Championship as the tournament chairman. He cares so much about making the championship the best it could be. Really has an attention to detail like no other. We worked great together. Duffy is like an older brother to me after this experience.
Duffy, of course, is an older brother to George, who took an active interest in the planning.
George Solich and Duffy have nicknames for each other that not everybody knows. So George is affectionately known among the two of them as Gray Sky, and Duffy is known as Blue Sky, because Duffy's always positive and George is not so positive, which is hard to imagine because George has accomplished a tremendous amount in his own right. But Blue Sky is a great description of Duffy Solich. He is always positive, he's always smiling, he's hilarious. And so he just brings more than anything, just a positivity and energy that really carried the day for the BMW Championship. It was fun. I was on the executive committee by virtue of our relationship with Western Golf and the CGA. And Duffy made all those meetings just fun to be a part of. There were a couple contentious moments where Gray Sky and Blue Sky had a little friction, but the tournament always benefited because of those exchanges, and the net result was the most successful BMW Championship ever in all aspects. Funds raised, tickets sold, corporate hospitality, the whole thing, and mainly it was just a tour de force in why Colorado is such a great place for professional golf.
At a ceremonial dinner the night before the first round, the Western Golf Association surprised the Soliches.
My favorite moment of the week, of the BMW Championship week at Castle Pines, was seeing Duffy and George receive the Caddy Hall of Fame award on Wednesday evening. It was really a special night. Nobody was more deserving than Duffy and George of that award. They put so much of their time and treasure into the Evan Scholars Foundation, into the game of golf. It was really a special moment to see him standing up there with the caddy bib on and the Caddy Hall of Fame trophy.
That's one of the things that I think probably gave him the passion. I know it gave me the passion that both of us are, on this track to constantly give back to a program that gave us so much and gave us such a great start. I was enormously proud when we made Tournament of the Year from the PGA Tour in 2014, but I was even more proud when Duffy achieved that same level with PGA Tour Tournament of the Year for 2024 for the BMW Championship at Castle Pines. It was awesome, and it's a big deal. It really is. It's a big deal, and the players know it. The PGA Tour knows it. The fans know it. I mean, it was. I think when everybody left Castle Pines, they were really excited about PGA Tour golf back. So I was super excited to see Duffy get the recognition he deserves.
For his part in making the PGA Tour's return to Castle Pines as fantastic as advertised, the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame Board of Directors congratulates Geoff Duffy Solich with its Person of the Year award.
Cheaters. Well, good evening, everyone. What an incredible honor to be recognized alongside Keith Schneider, Mitch, and Verne Lundquist. I think I drew the short straw in having to follow Verne. How daunting is that? Verne, just another round of applause for you. Now, of course, I've known Keith for some time, and we're great friends. And Keith, I really appreciate the nice words you said. Congratulations to all three honorees tonight. Standing here tonight as the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame Person of the Year is both humbling and overwhelming for me. I'm so honored to accept this award, but I'm truly accepting it on behalf of an extraordinary group of people. This team came together to bring world-class golf back to Colorado and worked tirelessly to make the 2014 BMW Championship such a success in every regard. I have a long list of those people, and John Rizzi thought it would be okay if I called them each up here tonight to accept the award with me and say a few words. Just kidding, John. From our very first press conference, I spoke of having exceptional partners. So with that in mind, I'd once again like to thank BMW, the best sponsor in golf. The PGA Tour was fantastic to work with and ran such a great event with such professionalism and drive. And of course, the Western Golf Association, who magically has put on this event since 1899 and manages to put on a stellar championship every year at a different location across the country. What a great team that is. As well, our extraordinary partnership with Ed Mate, the CGA, and our county and local officials were instrumental in our success. The unified vision and commitment of our partners ensured the championship was not only successful, but memorable. Their belief in Colorado sports fans, in the Castle Pines Golf Club, and in our team made all the difference. No tournament can succeed without its volunteers. For our event, over 2,300 volunteers gave their time, energy, and passion. From early mornings to late evenings, in every role, big and small, they welcomed the players, the fans, and the golf world with open arms. Our volunteer force was a big reason the championship ran so smoothly, and I will forever be grateful for their efforts. I also want to provide a large recognition to the incredible staff and membership at Castle Pines Golf Club. Hosting a championship of this magnitude takes a special kind of commitment, and our club's leadership and staff across all departments rose to the challenge with pride, professionalism, and a grace that is the trademark of our club. Our membership was also truly outstanding. They not only supported the event through ticket and hospitality sales, but our member volunteers who made up the executive committee and subcommittee were the workhorses behind the scene for the better part of 2.5 years. For me personally, it was especially meaningful to work alongside my brother George, chairman and president of Castle Pines. George's leadership, vision, and determination were instrumental in bringing the tour back to Castle Pines after 18 years and continuing to honor Mr. Vickers' legacy. I know we all felt Mr. V's presence and spirit that whole week. I am proud not only of what we accomplished together, but also the chance to share this journey with my brother. Thanks, bro. Our team had some big wins. As the video alluded to, the championship set a record and raised over $10 million for the Evans Scholars Foundation. The PGA Tour recognized the BMW Championship as Tournament of the Year. And we were also very excited to unveil the first opening ceremony in PGA history that included a full color guard, national anthem, and spectacular diamond formation F-16 flyover. If you didn't see that, that was great. And of course, my wonderful family, over here, table number 10, my wife Anita, our 4 children, their spouses, significant others are all here tonight. I can't thank them enough for their patience, encouragement, and unwavering support. Anita, the long hours and endless meetings would not have been possible without you by my side. Thank you. And thank you all for being here tonight. It means a lot. So when I look back on this, I think about golf. And to me, golf is so much more than a sport. It's really a community that balances the principles of character, integrity, perseverance, respect, and teamwork. When I look back at the 2024 BMW Championship, I think it embodied all those values, and I could not be more proud of what we all achieved together. To the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame, thank you for this incredible honor. Being the general chairman of the BMW Championship was a thrill of a lifetime, and I humbly accept this award on behalf of our entire team who made the championship a success. Thank you all, and God bless.
We turn now to the serious business of tonight's gathering, and that is the induction of 5 new members of the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame. And we've been talking a bit tonight about golf course superintendents. And being a golf course superintendent is a thankless job. So oftentimes when I see a superintendent, I don't thank him just to keep it up. I don't want to shock you by thanking you. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of push back, push to and fro with the Golf Hall of Fame as far as Mitch being honored tonight or our next inductee being recognized. A lot of people said, they're superintendents, leave them alone. But I stood up and said, what about me? I had the pleasure to know Rollie. A few years I was a member at Inverness and always loved to see him. I knew Tom Babb well and those that followed, but it was always a great place. It was always perfect, and a lot of that is part of the work that was done by many including our next inductee as we recognize Rollie Cahalane.
Rollie Cahalane's love of golf took root in his hometown of Cheyenne, Wyoming, where it was one of the many sports in which he competed. He also excelled in basketball, earning himself a scholarship to the University of Wyoming. But after a year in Laramie, he joined the Marines, serving in Hawaii and hooping as a member of the All-Marine team. Returning to Wyoming in the early 1960s, Rollie met and married Carol, who'd be his wife for 60 years. He coached high school and college basketball, and in 1967 took a job on the grounds crew at Cheyenne Country Club, making a name for himself as assistant superintendent while pursuing an accounting degree at Wyoming. Maintaining golf courses fit Rollie's athletic and active nature far better than the desk-bound world of numbers crunching, and by 1972 he'd moved his young family down I-25 for a head superintendent's position in Littleton, supervising the grow-in of the course at Roxborough Park, we now know as Arrowhead. The ownership's financial problems prompted Rollie to relocate to Four Lakes Golf Club, an ill-fated project that would soon become a residential subdivision in Centennial.
Shortly after Four Lakes went under, I hired Rollie to work for us at LL Johnson Distributing Company in our warehouse. I was a parts and warehouse manager at that time. So he worked for me in the warehouse for that summer. We got to know each other pretty well. Very likable man, always a great smile, high integrity. And I believe his next career job then was Columbine, where I became his salesman. Rollie and I had a great relationship. He was a little bit older than me, but he is, in a sense, coached me as to what is needed and expected in a good salesman. I respected him for helping coach me along.
A job as head superintendent at Columbine Country Club, which had hosted the 1967 PGA Championship and boasted Colorado Golf Hall of Famer Tony Nowitzki as its PGA professional, finally gave Rollie his big break. Shortly after arriving, Rollie's peers in the Rocky Mountain Golf Course Superintendents Association elected him their president. Columbine hosted 2 LPGA Tour championships, the National Jewish Hospital Open in 1977, won by Joanne Carner, and the Columbia Savings LPGA Classic, won by Beth Daniel in 1980.
I think my dad was a forward thinker. He was kind of a tournament prep guy all the time. He liked fast greens. I wouldn't say famous, but he was noted for his fast greens and quality golf course.
I always saw him playing his own golf course. You can't see the golf course from driving around in the cart. It's best to see it while you're playing it. And I think my dad did that well. And so I've kind of followed suit on that one.
In 1981, Rollie headed to Inverness, where he'd spend the next 20 years not only working with PGA professional and Colorado Golf Hall of Famer Tom Babb, but also playing alongside him in Monday Pro-Ams. He and Inverness assistant pro Ken Krieger got on so well, Rollie caddied for him at the 1993 PGA Championship, which coincidentally took place in Toledo, Ohio, at a course also named Inverness.
He loved golf pros. He had a great relationship with every course he worked at, going back to Tony Nowitzki, Tom Babb. He considered them his friends.
I just always saw my dad going into the golf shop and communicating with the pros, and I've done that myself. I try and go in daily and just know what's happening on the golf course, and I learned that from my father.
In 1992, when the pros arrived at the Inverness to compete in the first Colorado Open not held at Haiwan Golf Club, Rollie had the course ready, and the championship returned for the next 5 years. Inverness also welcomed the John Elway-hosted Celebrity Classic in 1999 and hosted numerous Colorado PGA Section championships.
Just my perception of Rollie, he had high expectations. He knew what the course was supposed to look like based on what his customers expected. And I would envision that those high expectations were expected out of his employees. How he handled them on the backside, I'm not sure, but I suspect he was demanding that he get the product that he expected out of his people. And I'm assuming because of his coaching background, he did a very good job in coaching and mentoring those employees too.
Rollie retired in 2001, His reputation as a leader, mentor, environmentalist, agronomist, and networker led the Rocky Mountain Golf Course Superintendents Association to make him a lifetime member, and the Rocky Mountain Regional Turfgrass Association to reward him with its highest honor, Turfgrass Man of the Year, in 1998. Although Rollie Cahalane passed in 2013, his legacy continues in the many superintendents he mentored. Those include his 3 sons, each of whom learned from their dad, graduated from Fort Lewis College, and became a superintendent at a premier course: Kevin at Telluride, Dave at Bear Dance, and Craig at Polk Creek. And like their father, Dave and Craig have both served terms as president of the Rocky Mountain Golf Course Superintendents Association.
My dad never pushed me or my 2 brothers to be a superintendent. It's just something that we fell into.
Yes, I was the last one to become a superintendent. I think at first he didn't want any of us to get into this business, but after it, I think he was extremely proud. You could see when we were at events, then when the 4 of us were together, he was beaming.
With great pride, the Board of Directors welcomes Rollie Cahalane into the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kevin Cahalane.
And I'm Dave Cahalane, the middle child.
Craig Cahalane, the youngest, thank you.
Wow, this is a little different than talking to the crew in the morning. On behalf of the entire Cahalane family, we'd like to thank the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame Board for this honor. We'd also like to thank all of you that have joined us here this evening to celebrate all the inductees. We'd also like to recognize Rollie's siblings, my aunt and uncle that came here for this, his brother Mike and wife Marilyn, and his sister Donna and her husband Rick. Rollie always enjoyed and appreciated industry support. He enjoyed attending conferences, networking, playing in tournaments with pros and other superintendents, as well as playing golf with his crew or just hanging out at golf maintenance softball tournaments. It would have meant a great deal to him to receive this award, and it means a lot to our family. Thank you.
I told my brothers I'd keep my portion short and sweet, just like Dad would like. Our dad's true legacy isn't the golf courses he worked on, but in us and our families. We grew up in the golf course, up on golf courses, inheriting his work ethic and high standards, which helped us succeed. Tonight, we represent golf course superintendents and highlight their vital yet often overlooked roles. Superintendents are the hidden figures working behind the scenes, getting dirty, and making things happen. We appreciate that my dad, Lance, and Mitch are receiving recognition tonight. Last, we'd like to thank my mom, our mom, Carol, for putting up with us for all those years. She certainly is the superintendent of our family.
We'd like to thank the Rocky Mountain Golf Course Superintendents Association. You guys were a huge part of our dad's life, huge part of our life. Speaking of our association, I want to really give a big shout out to Lance Johnson. Huge honor. You do so much for golf in Colorado, and this is well deserved. I believe that, I believe that our dad and Lance are numbers 5 and 6 of superintendents going into the Hall of Fame. And it's a huge honor, and I hope this opens the door for many more. So thank you all, and have a great night.
I feel bad for the golf courses in Colorado that aren't being run by a Cahalane. Evidently, that's what you're supposed to do, hire a Cahalane. And I do thank superintendents. I was kidding. They're wonderful. They do great work. Even the table that tried to badger me earlier. So our next inductee, somewhat foreign to me, very successful, good at golf, things I don't understand. But he's just one of those people who continues to ascend through life. And while that sounds like something we all aspire to, sometimes it's hard to do. Our next inductee tonight in the class of 2025 is Robert Polk.
A month after celebrating his 70th birthday, Robert Polk won the Colorado Golf Association's 2025 Super Senior Match Play Championship at the DU Golf Club at Highlands Ranch, the same course on which he won his first senior major 20 years earlier. His 2025 win marked Robert's 16th CGA Championship victory, all of which have come since he turned 50 in 2005. Not all of those wins came in senior or super senior events either. In 2007, he became the only person in the same year to triumph in both the CGA Mid-Amateur and Senior Stroke Play, leading to the first of 3 straight CGA Senior Player of the Year awards. He qualified for the U.S. Mid-Amateur Championship, signed autographs after qualifying for the U.S. Senior Open at Whistling Straits, and in 2015, he was the oldest player in the field at age 60 when he qualified with partner Bill Fowler for the USGA's inaugural 4-ball championship at Olympic. Robert Polk began taking home trophies as a junior golfer in Louisiana and Alabama. A natural lefty, he had learned to play right-handed with his older brother Franklin's clubs at the age of 5. His parents didn't play golf, but the family of 6 joined Sherwood Forest Country Club in their Baton Rouge neighborhood, and Robert spent days practicing and playing golf. The Polks moved to Birmingham, where Robert played 2 years of high school golf before returning to Louisiana, where he competed for Holy Savior Menard Central High in Alexandria. Like his father, Robert went to the University of Mississippi. He walked on as a golfer and eventually earned a partial scholarship. He graduated in 1977 with a degree in marketing, married his college sweetheart Kim, and started a family. In 1980, the couple moved to Denver, where Robert became president and owner of what would eventually become Polk Majestic Travel, a highly successful corporate, group, and leisure travel agency. The Parker resident didn't compete in state or national events for 25 years, as he and Kim grew the business while raising their sons Jason, Brian, and Stephen.
I knew very little about him, and he just, I'm not sure he played in any events. I knew his name. I knew he was a good player, that he was a good college player. He had a business, a family business, was working to support his family and didn't play, which was good for all the rest of us as his fellow competitors. And then I'm sure I met him when he turned 50. We both turned 50 the same year.
In 2005, with the boys grown and business booming, the 50-year-old was off to the races. In August, Robert teamed with Jim Pierce to win the senior 4-ball. The next week, Robert captured his first of 7 CGA senior majors by winning the senior amateur by 3 strokes. He also notched 2 super senior amateurs, the 2025 Super Senior Match Play, and 5 senior 4-balls.
Robert's a great partner in the senior 4-ball events. Our games, they're not very similar. He's very aggressive, he's very long. I'm very steady, I'm very conservative. We're always encouraging one another. Robert's a very great cheerleader. I can think of a few times when he's said a few things that's just changed a thought process for me and turned me on to a different level in competition.
In 2006, Robert joined Colorado Golf Club, where he won the inaugural club championship in 2007 and again in 2009, when he also took the stroke play and the senior club titles for a 3-championship sweep. The most recent of his 6 senior club championships came when he was 64.
Robert, to this day, is still one of the longest hitters in our tournaments. He hits the ball well over 300 yards. It's all attributable to his strength, his flexibility, and his dedication.
Robert has a very impressive ball striking ability, and I don't think it's any accident. He works very hard to stay fit. He has a stretching routine that he has shared with me, set me up with his trainer, and so he works really hard at being strong, being fit, and his ball striking shows it. He hits it really long, hits it really hard, and the sound when he strikes it is very pleasing.
In addition to maintaining his game, Robert has committed himself to giving back to the game through the Colorado Golf Association and the Western Golf Association.
For 21 years, I was on the board of the CGA. And Robert and I knew each other during that entire time, and we were playing a lot of golf together. I knew Robert was a contributor to his community by way of volunteering. He had a lot of great input to tournaments in Colorado, the CGA events that we played in together, and he felt comfortable coming to me and talking to me about things that he thought were important. And I always liked people like that on our board, not just yes people, but people that were willing to recommend changes and suggestions to make events and the CGA better, and he was one of those people. He was nominated and came on our board, and he was immediately put into the role of chairman of the tournament committee.
We got very spoiled with Robert as chair of our tournament committee,
and they were very focused on contacting people, trying to get the best courses they could for the CGA. So all the competitive golfers that played in any of the CGA or CWGA tournaments benefited from Robert. Focus, his intention on getting what he could and getting the best courses he could. So everyone really appreciated that.
When we were looking for WGA directors at the new Colorado Golf Club, he was the first to raise his hand and say, I'd like to get involved. And really from the very beginning, Robert has helped build the caddy program there, the youth caddy program there. Being a fit guy, he always walks. If there's caddies available, he'll be the first to take a caddy. So he has been a stalwart member of the WGA board and really raising awareness and money for the Evans Scholars.
So he's a gentleman. He's just somebody you want to spend 4 hours with. He's funny, he's a competitor, he's intense, but he's a great guy. And then finally, he's a very humble winner, and he's very gracious in defeat. And I've seen all of it. I've seen victory and I've seen defeat, and I admire that in Robert Polk.
For his exceptional play and contributions to golf in our state and beyond, the Board of Directors welcomes Robert Polk to the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame.
These are bright lights. All I can think about is John Rizzi in my head right now saying, Robert, you have 5 minutes, not 5 minutes in a second, 5 minutes. So I'm going to get going and try to get going fast. First, I have to thank Kim, my wife of 48 years. We, as you saw in the film, we met at Ole Miss and managed to be together for all this time. We've experienced all sorts of amazing things over the years, and I'm very grateful for the years that we've been able to spend together. I have a really long, loopy golf swing. My swing takes an awful lot of practice, and Kim has been able to and put up with me taking all that time to be able to practice. So anyway, I've worked very hard at it, and Kim's helped me at that, and I'm very grateful. So thank you very much, Kim. I also need to thank our children. They're here tonight, and the 3 little kids that you've been seeing run around. Yes, those are our grandchildren, and I think everyone, especially on this half of the room, has certainly seen them tonight. And we really need to thank our children and our daughter-in-laws for allowing us to be part of their lives. The last 7+ years that we've been able to spend an awful lot of time with our grandchildren, Kim and I both have cherished that time, and we need to thank both their parent, our sons and our daughter-in-law. So thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. I also need to thank everyone from the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame. In particular, I need to talk need to thank Scott Ratcliffe, who was my sponsor. Scott, I know you're here because we talked earlier tonight. Thank you very much. He has done an awful lot of work. Gary Potter, Mark Crabtree, Steve Ivan, Guy Mertz, and John Rizzi, and everyone on the board. So thank you very much. I am one of 5 siblings, and our older sister passed away 17 years ago, and our older brother is having some health issues and couldn't be here tonight. But my 3 sisters are here, and I've always said they could have fun reading a phone book. They're just fun people, and however, they've stayed mad at me for most of our lives because I played golf when I was a kid, and they had to stay home and mow the yard. Tonight I want to thank them for that, but I am not going to apologize. So thank you, sisters. Our parents passed away quite a few years ago, but as I said, I'm one of 6 children, and we were fortunate to have the world's greatest parents at a very early age. All of us knew that if we didn't turn out right, it wasn't because of our parents. They gave us a wonderful opportunity at life, so thanks, Mom and Dad. It is a shame that my older brother couldn't be here. He really got me started. He's 8 years older. He got me started in golf and taught me everything that I know, really my only teacher that I've ever had. He, for the longest time, until I was a teenager really, if I hit 2 really good ones, I could reach his drive. And I beat him for the first time when I was 15. And both of us still remember that, and I'm certain he's still more proud of that than I am. So thank you, big brother, and sorry that you're not here tonight. I need to thank Kent Moore and Ed Mate and Bill Fowler for finding some nice things to say about me in the video. My long association with the Colorado Golf Association has been wonderful. I've been part of it for, 19 years now. I'm emeritus status now, but Bill Fowler and I still do an awful lot of work helping the CGA find tournaments. So if you're ahead of, and maybe even Castle Pines might do something here one of these days. So George and Duffy, you two, we would love to have something at a Colorado Golf Association event at Castle Pines, even if it's a small one. I need to thank Dee Tidwell. Dee Tidwell is here tonight. Dee has been my trainer for the last 15 plus years. I went to Dee 15 years ago and I said, look, I really don't care about hitting it much further. I just don't want to start hitting it shorter. And here we are 15 years later, and somehow I'm still as long as I've ever been. So Dee, thank you very much. And not only do Kent Moore and I go see Dee, but some guy named Wyndham Clark goes sees him as well. So we must be doing something right. But not only is Dee a great trainer, he is a great friend. And speaking of great friends, John and Sue Oliver here tonight. I first met John 20 years ago, and if you don't know John, his record in Colorado golf, you ought to go look it up. It is absolutely amazing. When I turned 50, John, who is 10 years older, was the absolute king of Colorado golf. I've never seen anyone like John, and it seems like on the greens, he could will the golf ball into the hole. And just to stand there and watch that, you knew it was going in, he knew it was going in, and the ball knew it was going in. It's just amazing to watch. And if you ever wonder and want to know what kind of good player John is, as I said, John is now 80. Hopefully you're not mad at me for saying that tonight, John. But he is 80 years old, and this year at the Broadmoor on the West Course, he shot 69. So and that's just amazing, and something that I'll never forget. And also, John managed to win the Broadmoor Club Championship in his 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So John really has done it all in the world of golf, and Kim and I are very fortunate to call him and Sue very good friends. Thank you for being here. And they put off their annual trip to Arizona. They're going down there starting tomorrow morning. So to wrap this thing up, to tell you the truth, I really was never that good a player. I had a little success as a as a junior. I had some success in high school. I had really no success in college. I just never really was that good. But all during that time, I kept thinking, you know, maybe one of these days I could become a good player. Well, Kim and I, as I said, we got married right out of school. Our first child appeared 11 months later. Our second child appeared 2 years after our first child, and our third child appeared 2 years after our second child. So there really was no time for golf, and there really wasn't any money for golf because we just didn't have any at the time. So, but again, during all that, I kept thinking that, you know, maybe at some point I can become a good player. Well, through stupid persistence, and I'm certain some divine intervention, maybe I did become a good player. And I can't thank you all enough for tonight. If I live to be 110, I will never, ever forget this. So thank you all very much.
As we've been talking about tonight, we've been talking a lot about golf courses themselves, the way they're built, the way they're maintained, and sincerely thanking those that do all that. And our next inductee tonight, it reminded me of in the late 80s and early 90s when golf courses were suddenly being built again, and there were municipal courses being built that were no longer north-south, 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 you know, just build a golf course and get it over with. But places like Legacy Ridge were being built that were built with design in mind, and the way they were built, the way they've maintained, really has changed the way that many people enter into the game, because there are spectacular municipal and available tracks that everyone can play, and Legacy Ridge is one of them. And Legacy Ridge certainly owes a big debt to our next inductee, Lance Johnson.
The post-pandemic golf boom is alive and well in the city of Westminster. In 2024, Legacy Ridge Golf Course and Walnut Creek Golf Preserve, the two golf properties owned and operated by the city, combined to host nearly 98,000 rounds. That's a 9% uptick from 2023. Not only are the courses popular, each is an impeccably maintained championship-level challenge. Walnut Creek annually hosts U.S. Open and U.S. Women's Open qualifiers, as well as the state's only AJGA championship. This century alone, the USGA, CGA, AJGA, Colorado PGA, Korn Ferry Tour, and Colorado Open have staged more than 120 tournaments on these courses, including this year's PGA Pro Junior Championship and CGA 4-Ball Championship at Legacy Ridge, and July's 89th State Amateur and Korn Ferry Tour qualifier at Walnut Creek. The person largely responsible for this success is Lance Johnson, who for more than 32 years has been a linchpin of Westminster golf. Starting as a golf maintenance supervisor in 1993, the Iowa native has played a critical role in the construction and growing of both courses. He became golf course superintendent in 1996, and since 2015 has served as city's golf, parks, and open space manager, overseeing the two courses plus 63 parks, 3,800 acres of open space, and Stanley Lake Regional Park.
Well, Lance's leadership qualities are his ethics, his integrity, his willingness to listen and be really proactive. And I think those are what make him strong on all levels. The City of Westminster should be honored to have him as an employee because he treats everyone like he's educating them. And the people below him, they love him. And I think that's really what it's all about.
Lance acquired his affinity for golf growing up in Fairfield, Iowa, where he also developed a passion for basketball and baseball. His enthusiasm for the latter led him to the Joe Brinkman Umpire School in Florida. After 1 season of umping rookie ball and 2 years of single A, he made the call and went to Arizona State University, where he also met his wife, Lynn. They moved to Colorado in 1993, and he has been at the city of Westminster ever since. Lance arrived the summer before Legacy Ridge opened, working on construction and grow-in as golf maintenance supervisor with course architect Arthur Hills. Becoming the course superintendent, he got even more involved with the building and grassing of the Heritage Golf Course at Westmore. Architects Michael Hersden's and Dana Fry's masterpiece, which opened in 1999, was certified as an Audubon International Signature Sanctuary Program and, with Lance's input, eventually had its name changed to Walnut Creek Golf Preserve.
So Lance, first time I met him, I was just amazed at his passion for agronomy, his appreciation for golf course architecture. Lance wanted both Legacy Ridge and Walnut Creek to host as many CGA championships as possible. USJ championships, CGA, CWJ didn't matter, junior, senior. And every year, as long as Lance has been with the city, we have been very fortunate to have hosted at least one, usually 2 or 3 tournaments there every single year. I would have to say far and away, probably the most supportive municipality when it comes to hosting CGA championships.
As he's risen through the ranks of Westminster golf, Lance repeatedly leverages golf as a force for good, promoting the game through charity tournaments, youth programs, and community organizations. In 2009, he and Rocky Mountain Golf Course Superintendents Association colleague Joe McLeary founded the Rocky Mountain Environmental Institute as their organization's nonprofit arm.
When Katrina happened, we had a group of superintendents that went from Colorado down to New Orleans to assist those golf courses. And we had to route funds through GCSA and their foundation so that they could be used to pay the expenses that were incurred for those activities. We decided, let's control our own destiny. Let's go ahead and set up a foundation so that we can route those funds through that superintendent's foundation here in Colorado and use those to the best benefit. So it's benefited research, it's benefited scholarships, it's benefited, children of superintendents that have received scholarships.
Well, part of the Rocky Mountain Environmental Golf Institute is the research arm for RMGCSA. So we've had quite a few research on water, efficacy, BMPs, but I think the one was when we found out that really this Colorado golf courses only use less than 1% of the total water usage in the state of Colorado. I think that was our big win. That's what we bring to the Capitol every year for Golf Day.
The knowledge provided by Lance informs his peers and legislators in their ongoing discussions of golf course development and environmental regulation. His involvement in the Colorado Golf Coalition, an alliance of golf governing associations that lobbies at the Capitol, helped create an eye-opening 2021 economic and environmental study of Colorado's multi-billion-dollar golf industry and its environmental benefits. In 2019, Lance also co-chaired the statewide committee that developed the 168-page Best Management Practices Guide adopted by more than 140 courses across Colorado. One of those courses is Common Ground in Aurora. The Colorado Golf Association owns and operates it, and for the last 10 years, Lance has dispensed wisdom as a member of the CGA and Common Ground Subset Board in much the same way that Colorado Golf Hall of Famer Dennis Lyon, the superintendent who became president of the Colorado Golf Association, once did.
I think of Lance the same way I think of Dennis Lyon. Very, very similar. Superintendents, very proud of that agronomic sort of foundation, rising through the ranks of golf course superintendent to administrator. And just like Dennis was the face of Aurora Golf for many years, Lance is the face of Westminster Golf. Municipal golf in Denver is some of the best in the country. And you put Legacy Ridge and Heritage at Westmore or Walnut Creek, they're the two of the best public golf courses in this market. Why is that? Lance Johnson.
For all he has done and continues to do for Colorado golf, the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame is proud to welcome Lance Johnson.
lights are kind of bright, aren't they? I got here tonight and I bumped into a gentleman, introduced himself as a golf course superintendent. He said, hey, I spoke to this gentleman earlier about giving us a shout out tonight, and he basically told me no. And he looked at me and he said, would you be able to do something like that tonight? And I thought for a second, I said, hell yes, I can have the superintendents get a shout out tonight. So how about a round of applause for all of our superintendents? I want to start by saying thank you to John Rizzi and the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame for orchestrating such a memorable event. Congratulations to all of those being recognized this evening. And a good shout out to Mitch Savage for what you've done for our industry and your advocacy at the Capitol. So we really appreciate that, Mitch. It's truly humbling to receive this honor and join a distinguished group who are bound together by a shared passion for the great game of golf. My gratitude and admiration go out to all of my fellow Hall of Famers. And being recognized among Colorado superintendents is a rare and special thing. And being inducted tonight alongside Rollie makes the night even more meaningful. So, Cahalane family, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I was very happy that Rollie was being honored tonight also. Within this exceptional group is a select few Hall of Fame superintendents whose vision and leadership elevated our profession. Jim Haynes started the Rocky Mountain Golf Course Superintendents Association. Stan Metzger played a key role in creating the national program for certified golf course superintendents. And then there's Dennis Lyon, someone nearly everyone here has known. Dennis's contributions to the local and national golf communities are extraordinary. He served as president of multiple organizations and remains the only Colorado superintendent to be the president of the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. To be even mentioned alongside Dennis, thank you for that added extra pressure, Ed Mate, is deeply humbling, and I hope to continue his legacy in some small way. Few know that my golf journey in golf began in outside services as part of clubhouse operations. I think some of us from the superintendent side might consider that the dark side, right, Bubba and Joe? I worked at Papago Golf Course for Joe Huber in Phoenix, working as a closer 5 to 6 nights a week, gassing up carts, washing carts, and picking the range. After that, I moved on to Camelback Golf Club, working for Marriott and Joe Shershinovich. There I set up the range, assisted at the John Jacobs Golf School. A few of you might know about the John Jacobs Golf School. Clean clubs, stage carts, and even wrapped Christmas gifts for members and guests. I've always, yes, that was a Marriott thing, wrapping the Christmas gifts. I always attributed my poor gift wrapping skills as a motivator to try golf course maintenance. My recognition tonight as a superintendent and golf manager is more about the exceptional team, both past and present, that I have worked with for the past 32 years. Their dedication to working together, not as a separate clubhouse or maintenance operation, but as one unified team, is the driving force behind Golf Westminster's accomplishments. We have focused on sustainable maintenance, growing the game, and serving as a partner in our community. Any recognition I receive tonight is a direct result of their passion for the game, and I thank them all for making me look good every day, and I probably don't say that enough. In closing, I want to thank many people tonight for their support. My fellow superintendents, a lot of them here at table 5 right in front, the Hall of Fame nominating committee, the City of Westminster for 3 decades of opportunity, my Parks Golf and Open Space teammates, my fellow city colleagues, my longtime friends, Mark Bakeman, who got me started at Papago and Camelback, and Steve Heston, who was my first umpiring partner when we started doing high school ball in southeast Iowa. Both who have joined me tonight. Scott Tuggle, who couldn't be here tonight, but Scott gave me that first opportunity in golf course construction at Legacy Ridge. And most importantly, I want to thank my family. Thank you to my wonderful wife, Lynn, of 40 years, for being my partner and your unwavering support. To my son, Greg, and his wife, Laura, and their daughter, Ava, which happens to be our granddaughter. That's more common reference as granddaughter. And a soon-to-be grandson in less than 8 weeks. We're looking forward to that. To my son Kyle and his wife Lee, and to my daughter Brett. My wife and I have one other group I also want to recognize. My wife and I had started a nonprofit 4 years ago called All In Fostering Futures was the former name. We changed it a couple of years ago, All In Empowering Futures. We work with young adults who've aged out of the foster care system, about 200 to date so far. Their stories of hardship, resilience, and hope have given all of us in our family a little different perspective on life. Perseverance, ingenuity, and an unwavering work ethic are the cornerstones of the golf course superintendent. As the game evolves, these dedicated professionals remain devout stewards of the environment, bringing expertise and commitment to their work every day. Their efforts go beyond routine maintenance. They continually adapt to changing conditions and solve complex challenges to preserve the integrity of the game. Through their diligence, innovation, and attention to detail, they set the standard for excellence in golf course management, providing the foundation on which memorable rounds and lasting traditions are built. I'm very proud to be a golf course superintendent and now a member of the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
As we're seeing tonight, there are many paths to find yourself to be one day considered for the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame, but the common thread would be excellence. You know, excellence as a superintendent, excellence as a player, excellence as a contributor to the game, to the communities that the golf courses live in. But sometimes it's more tangible when it's just how you flat out play the game. And our next inductee is someone who certainly has done that. Please enjoy the telling of the story of John Lindstrom.
The winner of 14 Colorado Golf Association championships and one of the top-ranked senior amateurs in the world, John Lindstrom arrived in Colorado in 1999 with an intriguing backstory. The son of a former assistant golf professional, he grew up in suburban Seattle, but didn't really pick up the game until his father perished in a plane crash when John was 9. Spending summers with family in Tulsa, he learned to play from his grandfather, a World War II veteran, noted physician, and member of Cedar Ridge Country Club in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, where John's talent and passion for the game blossomed. John was playing as many as 36 holes a day when Lee Trevino gave a clinic at the club and taught John the overlap grip that he has used for nearly 50 years. John went on to letter in golf all 4 years at Sammamish High School before heading to Washington State University. He became the golf team captain and only the 4th individual tournament winner since the program began in 1927. He tied for 9th in the Pac-10 championship. He embarked on life as a professional golfer, first taking an assistant's job at the 9-hole Tam O'Shanter Club on Lake Sammamish. Thus followed years of Monday Ben Hogan Tour qualifiers, assistant club pro jobs, mini tour events, and second stage Q school finishes. He chased the dream all over North and South America before returning to Seattle, where he worked as a fishmonger. In 1996, while living in Seattle, John met his future wife Stacy, who hailed from the Boulder area. The couple relocated there in 1999 and eventually had a daughter and son. Priorities changed. He focused on a career in insurance-based financial services and risk management, and he had his amateur status reinstated. In Colorado, John wasted no time establishing himself in the amateur golf firmament. He qualified for the 2001 U.S. Mid-Amateur and has since played in 20 more USGA championships, including the 2008 Mid-Am, where he advanced to the quarterfinals, and the 2021 U.S. Senior Open, missing the cut by 1. He also represented Colorado in 8 USGA Men's State Team Championships, including the final one ever played in 2016. John notched his first of 4 state 4-ball victories in 2002, the same year he appeared in his first of 8 Colorado Cup team matches. He captured 3 Mid-Am titles and 1 Mid-Am Match Play Championship. He was the CGA Mid-Am Player of the Year in 2008.
If I could have any golf swing of any golfer I've ever seen, and there's a lot of golfers, John Lindstrom. Oh, what a great golf swing. It's just perfect tempo, and it just, I don't know how he ever misses a fairway.
As the CGA and the CWGA, been serving amateur golf for almost 100 years, is getting into a driving accuracy contest with John Lindstrom A bad idea?
Watch and learn.
No way, that's 15 in a row. I told you. Double or nothing?
That's a bad idea.
John joined Lakewood Country Club in 2013. He and fellow member Tom Lawrence won back-to-back Broadmoor invitations in 2017, when the best ball event was match play, and 2018, when it changed to stroke play.
He is so easy to be a partner of because A, he's so good. It just allows you, it frees you up as his partner. Just really, my job was just to go out and just try to make pars, just keep us from, you know, if he did something and he could fire away. But he's taught me more about the game of golf than I think anybody in my life.
In 2017, John had plenty to think about. He was turning 50, historically the magic number to enter senior events. However, after 2016, the CGA moved the eligibility age to match that of the U.S. Senior Amateur, meaning John would have to wait until he turned 55 to compete as a senior. More regrettably, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and has battled it ever since.
It's unbelievable what high level of golf he plays, battling that disease. You know, anytime a person gets sick, you tend to kind of compartmentalize your life and what you have left and what you want to make the best of it that you can. And I think with his confidence, not only in his game, because I've seen him work at it, you know, over the last, 12 years that I've known him, that his game really has excelled since he became a senior and when he turned 55, that he really made that a conscious effort that he wanted to go up in the WAGR rankings as high as he can.
John's accomplishments as a senior defy belief. He's been low amateur in the Colorado Senior Open 4 times. In 2023, his first fully eligible year, he swept the senior state majors, the amateur and match play, earning him CGA Senior Player of the Year honors. Nationally, he won the Trans-Mississippi Senior Championship in California and the Heron Creek National Senior Invitational in Florida. In 2024, he also won the Golf Week Senior Division National Championship and competed for the second consecutive year in the U.S. Senior Amateur. In July of 2023, John finished a respectable 9th in the RNA Senior Amateur Championship at Woodhull Spa and returned the following year with his son Jake as his caddy. By the end of 2023, the 56-year-old ranked 6th among males 55 and older in the WAGR rankings and made Global Golf Post's Senior Amateur first team.
I think growing up, I didn't really know much about kind of how good my dad really was. Later in life, I kind of saw like he's kind of playing every single day. Yeah, he's in the gym. He's getting better and bigger and always working on his game. And you know, it wouldn't just stay from like on the course or in the gym. Like I'd come home and he'd be, you know, exactly watching the swing over and over or reading another golf book. Yeah, it was definitely an obsession and kind of translates to me, I think, just playing hockey and wanting to go chase my dreams out in Connecticut and all over the East Coast. But yeah, he was an incredible role model to look up to growing up.
The Board of Directors welcomes John Lindstrom to the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Before I get started, I do want to thank John Rizzi and his team for doing the video. Actually seeing that up there is pretty cool. So thanks a lot, John, and the rest of that team. So tonight, rather than talking about me playing golf, I want to talk more about my grandfather, which he mentioned on there just very briefly. My grandfather was my biggest role model. He got me started in golf. And after he passed away in 1997, we found out a bunch of stuff about kind of what his background was, that I think we all wish we would have known before he passed away, but it's really changed my perspective on life and how I not only play golf, but how I deal with my family and how to deal with work. So if you bear with me, I'm going to tell you a story about my grandfather, and about halfway through you're going to say, where is this going? It makes no sense. I promise there'll be a full circle and we'll get back to why I'm here. So a quick backstory, yes, my father passed away at 9, and about that same time, my brother and I would spend our summers in Tulsa with my grandparents. And they fortunately lived on a country club, and so we had access to the pool and the golf course, and he had a number of clubs cut down for all the cousins that would stay there. There would always be 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 cousins there all summer long. And at some point, after we went to the pool all morning, I'd go out and chip and putt and hit a few balls. I didn't really know what I was doing. But apparently, my grandfather had noticed that. And he was a very quiet, stoic man, but very kind. But I had no idea he even noticed I was doing that. So one night after dinner, he came into the back room to talk to me and said, hey, I want you to meet me and my buddies on the 10th hole tomorrow at 11 o'clock. You're going to play with us in the back 9. And so basically, I was the 5th wheel in his group of his buddies at the golf course. And that was my really first time I played golf. And at the time, I was kind of nervous about it, but it was, in hindsight, it was kind of amazing that he did that, that he even noticed, because at the time he was still working, he was a physician. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about his background and why I think after he passed away, we learned all these things that he did, really kind of changed how I view my own life. So, sorry, it's not going to be a golf story at this point. So real quick, I'm not going to go through all the details. He was born in 1910 in Missouri. He went to medical school, and he was married and had 4 kids before 1940. At that time, World War II started. He enlisted as a medic and obviously traveled all over North Africa and Europe at the time. His story gets very interesting starting in 1944. He was part of D-Day in the 82nd Airborne. He was a medic, and the 82nd Airborne, their job was to glider in the night before, parachute down behind enemy lines, and hope the Allies won the beachhead. 6 months later after that, there was a Life magazine article, and it was a front page article, and it was about the Allies seemed to be winning the war. The 2 examples they gave were they were close to getting into Germany, and also that the Germans were now rounding up little kids, old men, to fight on the front line. And on the second page of that article, there was a German soldier, clearly in his 60s, being worked on by a medic, and that medic was my grandfather. From there, obviously the war ended. He got reassigned to London. He became General Eisenhower's, one of his personal physicians for a few months. My grandfather did play golf, and so obviously he played with him quite a bit, and they, I would say, hit it off during that time. I want to highlight just a few of the battles and the things that happened to him during World War II. And like I said, none of this stuff was known to the family. I'm sure my grandmother knew, but nobody else knew. And the foursome I joined didn't know about this either until after he passed away. He was part of the Battle of the Bulge, part of the March to Berlin, part of the liberation of the Woblin concentration camp. His decorations included the Legion of Merit, Purple Heart from the injuries he received on D-Day. He received, the Bronze Star. And then he also received the equivalent of the Bronze Star for the country of Netherlands, Belgium, and France. And before the war was over, he was knighted by the Queen of Holland. After the war, he was reassigned, like I said, to London as a physician for Eisenhower. At that point, he moved back to Tulsa. He was going to start his medical practice. Shortly thereafter, General Eisenhower was now President-elect Eisenhower, and Eisenhower actually called him and asked him to be the Surgeon General for the United States. He politely declined and said, I'm going to start a practice in Tulsa. I'm done with everything I've seen over the last several years. And they relocated to Tulsa, where he started his own practice. And of all things, as an obstetrician, he delivered babies, and he did that for the next 40 years. By the time he retired, he was the chief of staff and the chief of surgery, and he died at age 86. And there was a big obituary article in the newspaper that day, a few days after he passed away. And I'll never forget the last line of that article. It highlighted some of his war stuff, not the stuff that I necessarily mentioned here today, but it highlighted all the work he had done for the community in Tulsa and so forth. But the one thing that stuck out with me is that the last line of that article stated that he and his team delivered over 11,000 babies during his tenure. If you do the math, that's almost 3 a day, every day he worked. So what does that mean? That man to me was a war hero, a doctor, a role model, and he's the same guy that invited a 9-year-old snot-nosed little kid to go play golf with his buddies one day. He didn't have to do that. He was the ultimate example of humility, leadership, and inspiration, and became not only my role model then, but even so now. And so I just wanted to share that story with you. That's why I play golf. That's why I enjoy everything I do. I have a great family, and like I said, it really impacted me because we didn't find this out until 10 to 12 years after he passed away. So with that, not to finish on a down note, but he was a great man. I want to thank the Hall of Fame and the board, and a special shout out to Gary Potter, Lakewood Country Club for 15 years of support. 2 of my coaches and really good friends of 20 years, Craig Coy and Stan Sayers, who are both here tonight. And I do want to do a quick special shout out to my playing partners. I've had the fortune to win a number of 2-man events over the years with various people, and I want to highlight them today. Dean Clapp, Richard Bradsby, Chris Carlson, Brooks Faring, and Tom Lawrence. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You're welcome. So, my brother and sister-in-law are from Scottsdale, so Steve and Shelley, thanks for coming. Obviously, I want to thank my beautiful and very supportive wife, Stacy, and my 2 kids, Jake and Mia. And a final heartfelt thank you to my grandfather, Dr. Carl Lindstrom. Thank you.
Our final inductee tonight is kind of hard to describe because everybody already knows him. So get on with it, Tom. But if you, I play a lot more golf in the mountains now than I used to. I get in trouble with people all the time saying, you know, I like the mountains a lot better in the summer than I do in the winter. And all my skiing friends would, well, they already didn't like me. But that made it worse. But when you think of mountain golf, you think of Tom Apple. He's been there for so long and meant so much to so many when it comes to the most unique aspect of Colorado golf, mountain golf. So let's learn more now about our final inductee, Tom Apple.
Everybody's his friend. I mean, if you don't like Tom Apple, you got issues. You know, you really do. I mean, he's just that type of guy. I mean, always fun.
What I will tell you from a club member, he's the consummate club professional that you want.
Tom Apple has been a larger-than-life presence in Vail Valley Golf for more than 50 years. The 40 most recent of those spent as the first and only PGA Director of Golf at Country Club of the Rockies. He's such a fixture that his name not only graces the club's Golf Learning Center, it also identifies an aisle in the neighborhood supermarket, and a special combination plate at Fiesta, the popular Mexican restaurant he frequents in Edwards. How many people, let alone PGA professionals from a private club, can claim that distinction? His photo with Vail legend Pepe Gromschammer even hangs on the Wall of Fame in Pepe's, the iconic restaurant and hotel in Vail Village. The man who became synonymous with Vail Valley Golf actually grew up in Bucks County, outside of Philadelphia. His many accomplishments there include joining Arnold Palmer and Jay Siegel as a Pennsylvania high school state champion, qualifying for 2 U.S. Junior Boys Championships, and leading Penn State's golf team to the 1969 NCAA Nationals.
Tom, what made you move to Colorado? I mean, you were a good golfer and you were the high school champion in Pennsylvania. You were on the team at Penn State. What made you come to Colorado? He said, well, our school finally qualified for the NC2A, and it was at the Broadmoor. And I thought everything in Colorado was like the Broadmoor. And that's why I came to Colorado.
In 1973, Tom arrived as an assistant golf professional at Vail Golf Club, then the only course in the valley. He befriended developer Fred Green, who would open Eagle Vale Golf Club the following fall and hire Tom as its first head professional in 1975. Tom drew many of the nation's top players to the Eagle Vale Amateur, and by 1977, he began co-hosting the Jerry Ford Invitational, a celebrity-filled fundraising tournament starring the president who had just moved out of the White House and had a home in the valley, where he'd skied, played golf, and took lessons from Apple. The tournament attracted PGA Tour pros like Jack Nicklaus, Craig Stadler, and Tom Weisskopf. Sports figures and entertainers such as Clint Eastwood, Bobby Knight, Bob Hope, and Sammy Davis Jr. And politicians from both sides of the aisle every summer until 1996. The event put Vail on the golf map and raised millions for charity.
So we came here in '76, this was new. And there was nothing but reprobates up here. Literally was the Wild West. Tom was the opposite. He was always dressed appropriately, as a golf professional should be, and he was kind of the rock of common sense with all the idiots. So as he got into the Gerald Ford, he kind of subdued the outcasts that were mostly up here that were doing this thing. He became who he was, a man of dignity and great knowledge and the ability to deal with people. And I think that was a huge asset for Gerald Ford and the people that were running it up here.
By 1984, the impeccable golf management, instructional, and interpersonal skills Tom demonstrated at Eagle Vale and the Jerry Ford resulted in him becoming the first head PGA professional at the Jack Nicklaus-designed Country Club of the Rockies, Vail Valley's first private club, where he worked for the next 4 decades.
Probably my favorite memory and a great story about Tom is when Tom opened the back 9 holes here in 1985 with Jack Nicklaus. They played the back 9 together and had a wonderful time doing it. And Jack was, well, he was in his prime still. He won the Masters the next year. Wow, that was a big deal too. But yeah, Jack was great, and he and Tom have been friends ever since. They always have a big bet when Penn State plays Ohio State in football. So there's a standing bet with Tom and Jack here. So.
Why Tom is such a good golf professional is they have a presence that is very assuring. Whether it's a business or whether you're taking a lesson, you want somebody that seems to know what they're doing. And Tom surely knows what he's doing with golf lessons. But he's got to deal with memberships. He's got to deal with people. He's got to deal with people of pretty high social status and people wanting to get their own way most of the time. And he's got to be with them and teach them as club members. And he is a master of that, a master.
Master applies to Tom in many ways. In 1992, he became only the second Colorado-based PGA Master Professional, having written his thesis on golf at altitude. That mastery extends into all areas, as evidenced by multiple Colorado PGA and West Chapter awards. His talent in merchandising resulted in multiple publications voting Country Club of the Rockies among the top private golf shops in the nation. Tom's skilled mentorship has groomed more than 19 future head PGA professionals, and his instruction has refined thousands of golf swings. He honed his craft with such legends as Jim Flick, Jim McLean, Bob Toski, and Peter Costas, and worked 8 winters with Mike Adams and 20 of Golf Digest's top 100 teachers at PGA National Academy. He has brought Dave Pelz and Chuck Cook to lead clinics at the club, as well as David Ledbetter, who is a CCR member and close friend.
Tom's method in teaching is different for everybody, and that's what makes him great. He's brilliant at reading
the person about what they need. Do they need real technical type of stuff? And for me, I am technical because I'm a surgeon, so I like when Tom draws lines on video pictures and says, okay, see this angle, it's at 32 degrees. Normal in the pros, it should be 45 degrees. If he's got somebody who's a beginner, they don't know any of that stuff, and that's not what he gives them. They said, okay, you're a good athlete. I just want you to free swing it and just use your hand-eye coordination that I know you've got.
Tom, my friendship for you exceeds a lot of things that I've ever done. Our chemistry kind of came together pretty good. And I've always admired you for the way you handle yourself as the PGA pro and as a person.
Tom recently retired to spend more time with his wife Annie, daughters Aubrey and Ashleigh, his grandchildren, and many friends. However, he continues to teach at his well-appointed eponymous learning center at the club and hosts the Vail International Pro-Am, a tournament he started 38 years ago. The event taps Tom's vast network of golf professionals from some of North America's top clubs, who lead 3 of their club members for a spirited 3 days of golf at Frost Creek, Country Club of the Rockies, and Red Sky, with substantial proceeds going back into the Vail community that has given him so much. The board of directors congratulates Tom Apple on his induction into the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame.
Microphone. Let me put this on. This belongs to you. Is that for me? This is for you. You bet it is. This microphone must have been set up for Schneid's. Robert Polk said he was going to limit his speech to 5 minutes. He went to 7. Mine is going to be 3. Good evening. To the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame dignitaries and guests gathered here tonight. Congratulations to the other inductees in the class of 2025. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to the Hall of Fame, especially John Rizzi, who's done an unbelievable job this year, as he does every year. This is a career-defining honor for me. I've had I came a long way from sleeping on the floor of the Vail Golf Club when I came to Colorado in May of 1973. At that time, there was only one 18-hole golf course between Vail Golf Club and Salt Lake City. Now there are 17 wonderful golf courses alone in the Vail Valley alone. That year, I met 2 young assistant professionals that have remained close friends for the last 54 years. Colorado Golf Hall of Fame members Clayton Kuhl, who did this wonderful video for me, and Tom Connell, who couldn't be here tonight, but Tom really encouraged me to pursue the application process, and I really want to thank Tom for his support. I want to thank my friends and family from Pennsylvania, Colorado, and California, my golf colleagues, the Cambies, the Borowskis, the Coles, my wonderful wife Annie, for their exceptional support. If I have a legacy, it's the wonderful associates that we've worked together that have become head professionals in some of the top golf clubs in the United States. My Tom Apple Scholarship at Penn State University that puts a deserving member from the golf team through school. Working alongside 30 club presidents, hundreds of board members, in my 50 years in the business. and the Vail International Pro-Am, now in its 38th year, that has generated over $700,000 for charities in the Vail Valley. And a special thank you to Ann Smead, Mike Byram, and my wonderful friend Jim Carney, who is a Iowa Golf Hall of Fame members, for their support. I've come full circle from being a member of the Penn State golf team that played at the Broadmoor in 1969 in the NCAA Division I championships, to my final resting place at the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame Museum at the Broadmoor. Thank you all so much. I kept this under 3 minutes, John. Thank you all for being here.
So that concludes another amazing edition of the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame induction ceremony. For me, it's always a pleasure to be here, to have John Rizzi and the board invite me to come along and see everybody. For all of you who support the Hall of Fame and support the awardees, the honorees, and the inductees, it's been great to see all of you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Look forward to seeing you all out on the golf course, or maybe back here again next year. Thank you, and have a great night. We do want this year's inductees to gather over here for a team photograph. So if we could get our inductees